Curious, yeah? Good morning guys and welcome back to the channel. Hopefully the intro perked your interest. We'll talk about how these three guys have transformed my running in just a second. But today is my top 7 running tips based on 5 years of experience. I've had a lot of speed bumps along the way and had to come over a lot of hurdles. I'm a big believer in the old adage that if you're not moving forwards, you're going backwards. And I like to think I've formed a lot of really good habits over the years. This content's completely unique to this channel. I've not seen this stuff mentioned anywhere else, so hopefully it will be helpful for you guys who are trying to really get serious about your running. It's Saturday today and I'm about to head out to Conisthorpe for a short run, so I'll grab a few bits and we'll continue this conversation from the car. Everything we discuss today is centred on recovery. It's such a boring subject, no one likes covering it, and we definitely don't like thinking about it. But it's so vital. We break muscles down, we really challenge the cardiovascular system during training, but it's then got to adapt afterwards, grow and get stronger. And recovery doesn't just happen on its own. How well you recover from session to session is massively dictated by what you do. And that brings us nicely onto tip number 1, which is something you saw in the intro. It's the aloe vera gel. 99.7% aloe vera, I think, and what this does is essentially cleans the digestive system. When we try to repair from runs, we desperately need nutrients in our body. But essentially food passes through the small intestine and that is what absorbs the nutrients from the food. However, this area of the small intestine can get clogged up with crap and needs cleaning. If it's not cleaned, then you've got less capacity to have nutrients pass through and properly get absorbed into your system. All it is 1 shot a day, as you saw me take this morning. I've noticed a huge difference since I started using it. I've actually even noticed my fingernails growing much faster, which is quite creepy, but it's probably the one thing I couldn't go without. Now, of course, we can't talk about maximising digestion and nutrients without discussing diet. I'm on a plant-based diet personally, and I found it fantastic since I switched. It was a real gradual process. I started by cutting out dairy, cutting out sugar, and just trying to be a bit more healthy, get a bit more veg in there. I then cut out the meat and went fully plant-based. And since then, the difference has been massive. I feel like I'm burning raw fuel now. I never feel stodgy anymore, and even my physio and masseuse have both seen a difference, saying that they can feel the fibres in my muscles when they're trying to work out kinks. I don't want to talk too much about alcohol because it's everyone's decision what they do with their lives. I personally have cut it out, and again, I've noticed a huge difference since I've done that. We're going to touch more on vitamins and nutrients in just a second, but we need to get on with this run because I've been talking way too much.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights.
Well, I think we've picked the worst possible day. It's Castle Howard Triathlon by the looks of it. All the tents are out, and I don't know if you can see it, but Castle Howard is just over there. Yep, we're actually just joining the route now, so hopefully we can scare a few people into a sprint finish. That brings us nicely onto vitamins and nutrients, which is what you saw me taking this morning. Those little drops that I put in my porridge, they're called D3. We basically get vitamin D from the sun. That's
pretty much the only thing we can get it from. So when you get to winter and the darker months, it's very easy to get a deficiency, which I had and 1 in 5 Brits have as well. I would build up my mileage in spring and summer, do really well, get to winter, and then I'd crash. I'd end up getting injuries, niggles, and breaking up all the hard work I'd done through the warmer months. So if that's you, I'd highly recommend considering these supplements. Again, they'll be linked in the description. And for something that's a bit wacky and outside of the box, I'm actually getting a standing desk to work. I look like a complete plank and an idiot, but to be honest, I don't care. The health benefits of standing over sitting down for such long periods of time are huge. I don't know if you've ever heard of working capacity in ultra running. It's quite big, quite important, and my job requires 11 hours of sitting down a day. So for me, to be able to stand up instead could be huge for my training. A really great example of that is the fact that my hamstrings have been switching off because I've been less active and recovering from my last ultra marathon. If I was standing, that probably wouldn't have happened. And actually, we're going to right now try and do something about that. I've got 4 hill reps up here, a minute and a half a piece, just to try and get these hammies switched back on. Another thing that's part of my recovery routine is a Compex machine. They are expensive, probably around £450 to £500, so it's a lot of money. But again, if you're really serious about your running like I am, they do wonders. I get that on after every competition, just to get the blood circulating around, just release some of the toxins and the crap. I also use it when I'm in downtime, just to challenge my muscles a bit more. Going on to one of my final tips, this is the penultimate one. That's an ultrasound machine. Now, the science behind these things is a little bit sketchy. They're not 100% proven to work. However, I found it really useful. On my knees, on my quads, some of the bigger muscle groups, if I've got a little strain or a tear, I'll use that in the area, and it just helps break down scar tissue and gets blood flow into the injured area. Right, let's try and work our way through these nettles, and then we'll go on to the final tip. And to be honest, this one for me is massive, and I highly doubt any of you doing it. Ow, 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 ow.
Do you want to dance?
A couple of years ago, I got really sick after winning the Waynestones Marathon. I ended up with impetigo all around my neck, and I had to go on to antibiotics. While the infection got cleared up and I was okay in day-to-day life, I had long-lasting effects with my racing. Not from the infection, but from the antibiotics. They killed all the good bacteria in my stomach, and this meant that when I raced, I couldn't stomach food no matter what the distance. And that brings me on to my next tip. Consider taking some form of probiotics. The balance of microbacteria in your stomach is vital to digestion, and this makes a difference even to things like depression and anxiety. This is a really complicated subject, so I'll link a book in the description and show you a picture just up here. I've forgotten what the name of the book actually is, but it's a cracking read and explains all. I finished the Hardwolds 40 just the other month with no real problems bar dehydration, so fingers crossed that side of my stomach is sorted. Right, we need to get on, guys. We're almost back at the car, so we'll finish this thing off there. There we go. It's another easy 10K done, ready to really kickstart next week with the training plan. The shoes are looking a little bit worse the wear. All right, guys, that wraps up the tips for today. So I'm gonna love you and leave you there. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like if this has been of any help whatsoever, and catch me with episode 3 next week. See you later.